Welcome back, everyone. Week 5, Money Sauce, PHL, Week in Review. We're back again, as we promised.
Yeah,
See, we didn't let you down.
promises made, promises kept.
That's right. I started researching into All-Star games and how they came to be and everything. And
Hmm.
I thought I'd share with you what I found. There's some interesting stuff about how kind of All-Star games came to be and all that kind of stuff. Um, 1908. So the first ever All-Star game that's in recorded history actually predates the NHL. So
Wow.
the Montreal Wanderers, who eventually became a founding team in the National Hockey Association, which eventually became the National Hockey League, um, played in a league called the Eastern Canada Amateur Hockey Association.
Okay.
ECAHA. And so January 2nd, 1908, in the Montreal Arena, the Wanderers played a game against a team of all-stars from that league. And the reason for it was that a Montreal Wanderers player by the name of Hod Stewart,
Hod Stewart?
Hod, Hod
Hod,
Stewart,
not the
yeah,
singer.
no, not Rod
Oh,
or
that's
Ron or
disappointing.
yeah, Hod.
Hod.
William Hod Stewart had drowned 3 months after the Wanderers won the Stanley Cup in 1907.
Oh,
And so the proceeds of that game
dark.
went to his family,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the first recorded version of any kind of all-star game in hockey. I'm sure everyone here is listening and all that is familiar with King Clancy from the Maple Leafs,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the Ace Bailey incident. Anyways, Toronto's King Clancy tripped Eddie Shore from the Boston Bruins, and in retaliation, Eddie Shore decided he would hit someone, I guess out of anger, and hit Ace Bailey from behind.
That's the code.
Ace Bailey flipped, landed on his head, um, and they thought he was dead. Apparently, as the story goes, there was actually a priest in attendance at that game that gave him his last rites.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Ace Bailey ended up living for 60 more years, thank goodness, but that was the end of his hockey career. And in in 1934, as a benefit for Bailey and his family, the Maple Leafs held an all-star a benefit game, and um, it was the Maple Leafs who were the defending Cup champions at the time, and they played an all-star team from the rest of the other teams in the NHL.
Mm.
So that was the first ever all-star game in the NHL. And a couple more of those games happened before the All-Star game became an actual yearly thing. So wasn't until 1947 when the first like non-benefit NHL All-Star game happened.
Okay.
So in 1947, um, it would the format was the defending Stanley Cup champions would play a team of NHL all-stars from the rest of the league, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that continued all the way through till 1967.
Wow.
Yeah, so that format was actually it was before the season started. So they would play the All-Star game before the season started, so you'd have the defending Stanley Cup champions starting the season playing an All-Star game against the previous year, I guess, based on stats, All-Stars. So in 1967, the NHL decided to change it up. So they would have a team made up of first and second team all-stars. You know how at the end of the season they always announce who's the first and second team all-stars?
Right.
It's basically like two lines of all-stars, yeah. So they would combine those two to make one all-star team and then a team of stars from what was left after that, I guess,
Oh.
basically. Very confusing way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hard to explain, but they did that for 1967 and 1968. And then they went back to the Stanley Cup champions versus the NHL All Stars.
No.
In 1975, the NHL realigned and they made the Wales and the Campbell conferences.
Right.
And it was decided at that time they'd have their first conference versus conference format of the All Star game. Then in 1968, or sorry, 1978, excuse me, instead of doing a traditional All Star game, the NHL had a 3 game series where they hosted an All Star team from the Soviet Union. So it was NHL versus Soviet Union.
Oh.
Um, and then um, again in 1987, they didn't have a traditional All-Star game because they had something called Rendezvous 87. So this was in
Sounds
Quebec.
spicy.
Just French. So yeah, they had a 2 game series in Quebec, um, where the Soviet All-Stars played the NHL All-Stars, but it was a combined total of those two scores that was the final score,
Right.
basically.
What was the final score?
Answer your question, the NHL All-Stars lost by a combined score of 8-7 for the Soviet Union team. The NHL All-Stars won game one 4-3 and lost game two 5-3. Um,
Seems
and
right.
then and yeah, right. um, and it wasn't until 1990 when the NHL added the skills competition. So prior to 1990, the All-Star game was traditionally a midweek game.
Hmm.
And in 1990, they decided to basically make it the All-Star weekend. They added the skills competition. In 1994, the conferences changed their name from the Wales and Campbells to East and West as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously the All-Star team names adjusted. 1998 is where we finally start to see things change with some kind of regularity. They start testing different things out. So in 1998, it was in Vancouver, was the first All-Star game where they had the North American All-Stars versus the World All-Stars.
Okay.
And the reason they did that is because the Olympics were happening,
Mm-hmm.
that and they wanted to kind of showcase teams in a more international kind of
Flavor.
flavor. Yeah, flavor. Yeah. In 2003, they went back to the East and West after a few years of doing the North America versus the world thing. We all remember the colored jersey from the Toronto version of that game. Um, so yeah, in 2003, it was back to East versus West. In 2007, on the Friday night, they added what was the called the Young Stars game. The Young Stars game was just rookies. So a team of Eastern Conference rookies versus Western Conference rookies.
Right.
In 2011, they dropped that. And this actually surprised me, but this was the first time, 2011, that rookies were allowed to be eligible for the All-Star game.
Oh, that seems
Yeah,
weird.
I really thought that they had played in All-Star games before then, but I guess not. Um, 2011 also brought, which I thought at the time was a fantastic idea. The draft format, where there was
Mm.
two team captains and then they, take
Yeah.
turns.
Feel the thrill
Very,
and last. Got himself a car.
yeah, honky the Honda. Um, and that lasted only a couple years, because in 2016, instead of doing a traditional All-Star game, they moved to a format where there was four teams, one team representing each division in the NHL, and they'd play a knockout tournament where each game was 20 minutes long and it was a 3-on-3 format.
Right.
So you had four teams, they'd play each other for 20 minutes twice, and then you'd have the knockout, like final game kind of thing.
Right.
Um, that lasted until 2024, where they still did the four teams, but they brought back the fantasy draft format.
Oh.
So there would be four team captains, and each team captain had a celebrity as like a co-captain. I remember Will Arnett was one of them. I think
Yeah, I
Justin
vaguely remember
Bieber.
this.
Yeah. And so the captain and the celebrity were drafting the teams in that fantasy format thing. I recall watching it a little bit. I like Will Arnett, but it just felt it took forever, and it just felt kind of like they were humming and hawing and trying to make it seem like a bigger deal than it really was. But finally, last year, 2025, the NHL, instead of having a traditional All-Star game, did the Four Nations Face-Off, and we all know how well that went. Um, and I'm
It's
not being
great.
sarcastic. I'm being serious. It was a success. It was a big success. Um, this year, the NHL is not hosting an All-Star game because in 2026 they'll be going to the Olympics. So, besides for 1998, when they had started the North America versus the world, every year that there was an Olympics that the NHL was participating in, they would not have an All-Star game
Right.
because obviously they were taking a break for the Olympics, so they didn't want to take a break for the All-Star game as well.
Of
So
course.
that's kind of a brief history on the All-Star game there. Um, for me, like we talked about last week, it's not like it was in what was that, 1940s. It's not this like uh, innocent thing that they do to try to raise money, excuse me, for somebody that needs it. Um, I appreciate that the NHL, more so than most leagues, has experimented with the formats, has tried different things. Um, for example, the NFL only recently had moved from like an actual game to flag football.
Hmm.
Um, Baseball's still a game. In fact, it wasn't all that long ago that the All-Star game in baseball meant the winner would get home field advantage in the World Series, whether it was the American League or the National League. Soccer's All-Star game is just a bunch of, well, MLS, I should say, is just a bunch of MLS All-Stars playing off against some European team. Um, so at least the NHL has tried different things. Um, I remember it being way more exciting as a kid.
Yeah.
Remember the brighter jerseys and the whole weekend of it with all the all-star skills competition and all that. But now, for me, anyways, I'm not really interested in it anymore. I said my idea last week of the make the outdoor game the all-star game and just go all in and make it basically a shinny pond hockey game. Um, but I would have to say of all the formats that they've had over the years, I still think the draft format is my favorite.
Hmm.
I don't know. What do you think? What's your favorite format?
Like you, it doesn't not. I mean, the Four Nations Cup is different, obviously, but the All-Star game doesn't grab me. There's this weird thing with like the modern day professional athlete where the All-Star games don't mean anything. Like when we were kids, those guys were playing hard out there. They were actually trying, and today they don't want to be there. It's very much for the sponsors, for the marketing, for the kids. Like the novelty of it doesn't appeal to me, but as a kid, it was great.
Hmm.
But I think partially is because you believed that those guys were playing hard against each other rather than the 3-on-3 tournaments where they're like, okay, well, this guy can have a car. If you win, you get whatever. Like it's not enticing to me in any way. I understand
Hmm.
why they do it. I think that the 3-on-3 format's interesting because the other format is dead because you don't have the guys playing in any real meaningful way. And the poor goalies just get shell shocked the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it never looks good for them. And that's not what you want in an All-Star game. You want goals, right? You want to
Hmm.
see the skills on display, but that's not what you get. You get something that's phoned in.
Hmm.
So so yeah, I don't know, the 3-on-3 format, they could keep doing that just because it's different. I think the sticks in or like the picking a team on the fly is fun, whether they do that with like a fantasy draft or sticks in or whatever.
Hmm.
At least the draft gives them time to like get excited about the team. But yeah, that's my take on it. I didn't talk about this. I'd forgotten about this, but actually, the captain and I went to the skills competition back in 2000,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't remember any of like the event winners. I just remember it feeling incredibly short because, like you said, they were still tinkering with it in that era,
Right.
right? That was still the World All Stars versus the North America or NHL All Stars or whatever. Um, so it just felt incredibly brief. Like there was only like a few competitions and it was done. So it was weird, like going down to downtown Toronto, getting amped up for like a hockey game, and like, your commute there one way is longer than the event.
Yeah, I guess so.
I vividly remember like our tickets were at the very top and not like where your season tickets were. Like we were like standing under the gondola. There were
Right.
no seats. It was just like you have you're in the standing row. So we were like sitting on the steps because you couldn't see the monitors, the jumbotron or whatever. Um, so the coolest thing about it was actually the ticket because it was like extra large and it was like this nice card stock with this old timey writing. That's what I remember most about the 2000 NHL All Stars competition. So figure it out, NHL.
Here now. Well, I might I might have a little bit of a hot take here.
Ooh, spicy. We need
I
like
know
hot take music, like a hot take clip. I'll get on that.
um I know last year the Four Nations face-off thing was a success. Viewership wise, people were getting into it. Part of it is probably due to the political climate and all that kind of stuff too. Uh, the whole Wayne Gretzky coming out for both US and Canada thing. Like there was a lot to it, right? Um, I don't want it as an all-star game replacement. I think it's stupid. We have the Olympics. The NHL is trying to bring back the World Cup of Hockey again. Now that's a whole nother topic. Um, but I don't need yet another version of international hockey. There's a place for it where it matters, where those storylines would mean something. And yes, I understand that society in general, or at least the hockey watching society, really got into it last year. I understand it's probably going to happen again in 2027 because it was such a success. But at some point, enough is enough with international hockey. and let it be at the Olympics, let it be at the World Cup of Hockey, and let all the countries be involved. And don't just give us Canada, US, Sweden, Russia every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they would be limited to NHL players. So
Yeah,
it's a more limited pool.
yeah.
So to keep the product competitive, they're locked into something smaller like that. I guess the World Cup of Hockey has more teams.
World Cup of
So,
Hockey does have more teams in
so
them.
I mean,
I
they
mean,
had
the
to throw in
last,
like the Young Guns team or whatever
yeah, the
to fill
last
it out.
version of the World Cup of Hockey is a whole nother topic. But I
But
mean,
before we get in, like I want to push back on the Four Nations Cup was
yeah,
great, and I think part of it that you didn't touch on was like we hadn't seen best on best international hockey in like a
that,
decade,
that's
right? We
true.
finally get like McDavid and on the stage and Austin Matthews and those guys that like you could argue it's the highest kind of stage international hockey like the Olympics. You know, like from a North American perspective, the Stanley Cup is probably number one. But like I remember Ovechkin talks about how like a gold medal is worth more than a
Hmm.
Stanley Cup to him.
Yeah.
And I wonder if other international players and cultures feel the same way. Because it's once every 4 years. Stanley Cup is every year, but it was great. I thought it was awesome. They could do that if they did that like every 2 years. You know, that'd be great. Or make it the World Cup of hockey every 2 years. It's almost like the Euro versus the World Cup of soccer.
Right.
You know, you get like every 4 years you get the Euro, which is like almost there, and then like the Olympics is there. Um,
But we're
and then
gonna
the other
have
off
that.
years, I don't know what you do. Maybe you just take a break.
But the thing is, we're gonna have that, right? This year we're gonna have the Olympics, and I realize that the NHL hasn't been part of the Olympics for a while. So that was, like you say, a factor. We're
People were
gonna have,
hungry for it, and the
yeah,
players were hungry for it. I don't know if if that was a regular thing. If it was an every year thing, I don't know that they would be as hungry as they were. You wouldn't have like all the fights after the first face off. You wouldn't have. I don't think it would be as aggressive
hmm.
or competitive.
No,
Um,
I
because you just kind
absolutely
of it just
think so.
becomes the norm, right? But there's the other side is like every time you put on your nation's colors, like you'd think you'd step it up a level, you know. You want to make that team
Yeah,
and
I
represent that team well.
I understand all that. I do, and I understand that the timing for this was perfect.
Yeah,
I really do. Um, if they were to do this again with the 2026 Olympics and then the 2028 World Cup of Hockey that's supposed to be happening, and then the 2030 Olympics, etc. Like it's supposed to be every other year. Going forward, there's going to be a tournament
right.
between the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey. So, okay, yeah, the timing was great for this, and
Here's what you do. I figured it out. You
okay,
take the bottom teams and you make them play each other for 2 weeks, and then the winner gets the first overall pick. Boom. You're
but
playing for
then
something. The other teams get a break unless you're tanking. Then you're almost like punished for tanking. But then you still have to play well to get the pick.
the only issue with that is the timing. To have
Yeah, you
those
couldn't do that
teams
every
in the
year.
middle of the season,
That's fair.
because by the end of the season they might even be a playoff team. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
it's certainly that would be a fun thing to do, to run at the same time as like the first week of the playoffs or something like
Yes, that's actually a good idea. But
that.
it's just the first week or two, so you don't take away from like the bigger games for the Stanley Cup.
Right, yeah,
You have more teams
exactly.
invested, so you're making more dollars. More owners are making money during playoff season, and they
Absolutely.
could be like, you know what, we tanked this year, but we're gonna win this pick.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Yeah,
you're not just like rewarding teams for sucking, which I
yeah,
understand the theory behind, but it just feels wrong to me.
absolutely. I think we're onto something here. I think maybe we should give Gary Bettman a call after this and see
Like,
what he
you're
thinks.
closer to him than I am.
Which isn't saying much. Oh man. Anyways, um, before we get to the games, before we talk
Oh,
about any of the moves or anything like that, um, I have a little bit of breaking-ish news.
that can be the segment name. Breaking ish news.
A couple hours ago, the Dallas
Ooh,
Stars unveiled new alternate jerseys that are throwbacks to their 1999 Stanley Cup championship season. So you'll remember at the time the Dallas Stars, well, that's what their logo looked
was
like.
that the year that they
Uh,
won with but Brett Hull's foot was in the crease?
I was literally just about to say that. You read my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the year against the
they
Buffalo
stole a
Sabres,
championship from Dominic
who,
Hasek.
by the
Good on them.
way, the Buffalo Sabres won the Eastern Conference final by 4 games to 1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The one game that the Leafs won, I was there.
Wow.
My dad's company at the time had Leaf season seats, and because it was like so last minute when you got those playoff games, they they didn't give away the tickets to any customers. So my dad, who was in charge of all that, just said, "We're going to a playoff game, Jer." So
Nice.
it was pretty cool. But yeah, so the Stars have these new jerseys. They're going to be their alternates. They're the same design with the kind of hem stripe here, looking like the shape of a star, just in the colors of the current Dallas Stars uniforms. So if you remember before, they were green, black, and it was like a like goldy kind of color,
I like the
a
gold. I love their
bronzy.
color scheme.
Their current one or their old one?
I love the green, black.
And
I think it
silver.
needs a little bit of gold,
Yeah. And I
but
think that's what it was before. They replaced the gold with silver
yeah,
now. Um, but yeah, I think that's just a beautiful uniform. But to tie it into our previous conversation, um, it's not going to give me a view of what I really wanted, but you can see the hem stripes kind of there that are in the shape of the star. But this kind of design template for the jersey actually goes back to the All-Star game when
oh, you're right.
the NHL in the 90s changed their logo to like a puck basically with the NHL in orange on it instead of the shield that they had used before and have since gone back to.
Hmm.
And they were trying to be, 90s extreme or whatever. And that was the design. And I think one team was had a purple star and like a black top, kind of like if you were looking at this uniform, the green would be purple kind of thing. And then the other team, it was white with like teal, I think, underneath. I can picture it sort of because I had those Muppet dolls that you got from McDonald's that had the All-Star jerseys on them. You could,
Interesting. I don't remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. Anyways, those were some of my all-time favorite jerseys.
That makes me want to rant about the modern day Happy Meal toys.
They're crap.
They used to be awesome. Now they're
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah, absolutely.
Laughing got a dog with wings
And my girl's got that one too.
with like a QR code to make it fly, and so, oh great! So
Yeah,
I can not only give my kid your crappy food, but now I can just put him in front of a screen
yeah,
while he eats your crappy food.
yeah.
That's what I want.
That's
Give me
the
the Muppet Baby go karts, man.
oh
Or the
yeah.
Super Mario toys. Remember those ones?
Mm-hmm. Good times, good toys back in the day.
Kids today, man, they're
Yeah.
missing out.
But yeah, that's the news from Dallas. Oh yeah, their hanger effect because they won in 3 overtimes. That's when the skate went in the crease.
The refs just wanted to go home. They were like,
Oh
who
yeah.
cares? But what's funny was like
That
so many
was
goals got called back that year, that era.
hmm
If you're like if your skate lace was just like undone and the tip of it was in the crease, they're calling the goal back.
yeah, it was
So the fact that they
ridiculous.
won a Stanley Cup where half of him, the entirety, half of the entity known as Brett Hull is in that crease.
Yeah.
And they're just like, fuck it, you win.
Yeah, I've had enough. I'm not making overtime. Let's go home.
We're not doing 4 overtimes, boys.
Yeah. Which actually leads me to another question. Out of all the NHL games that you've gone to,
Oof.
have any of them gone to overtime?
Yeah.
And if so, how like what was the longest game you've ever been to?
I don't think of it. It's hard to remember. I don't remember like every individual game I've been to.
Hmm.
I know I've been to a few shootouts. Because in the modern era, I've never been to a playoff game. So all the
Okay.
regular season stuff is going to end in a shootout now.
Yeah,
So
which
no, I've probably been to like 1 or 2 overtimes, but I used to go a lot more like back in the day at Maple Leaf Gardens.
hmm
You know, back in the '90s when tickets were easy to get. My
hmm
dad, my uncle's was good friend with a lawyer in town who had season tickets. They were front row blues.
Okay, all right.
So we went a few times a year. Those were amazing because they were I guess where the second level would start
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
right.
like
Yeah.
front row there,
Yeah.
like right behind the goalies. At that time, blues were only behind the goalie.
That's right. Yeah.
So the front was in there. I have this vivid memory of Damian Rhodes making a save with his stick, like lying down, and the puck was about to cross the goal line, and he just like reached back and hooked it out. And I
Nice.
was like, ah, and all of a sudden I was a Damian Rhodes fan, the only one ever. But that's my most vivid, one of my most vivid memories from a Leafs game.
Yeah. There was nothing like walking into Maple Leaf Gardens, and now we're gonna sound super old, but I don't care because it's true. The smell, the
Yeah,
chill, because it was still a hockey rink,
yeah,
not an entertainment venue. You walk in there, it's a little chilly, and the smell of popcorn
yeah.
and like musty old beer that's been spilled
Hmm.
and just urinals that needed urinal cakes, like all combined
Yeah.
for the for the perfect. Oh
I remember
God.
the escalator. That's a
Oh
weird one
yeah.
too.
No, it
Like
was.
everyone's funneling out on that one escalator,
Hmm.
and you're just like right out in the street.
Yeah,
It was a cool venue,
it really was.
and you kind of get a glimpse of it when you go down there now. What do they call it?
Oh, the Mattamy Center or
Matt, is that what
whatever.
it is? Above the Loblaws?
Who knows what the sponsorship may have changed again since then,
Right.
but yeah,
That's
when you
another hot
go,
take I have. The
but
constant name changes from sponsored buildings
yeah, it's frustrating in
really
a
grinds my
way.
gears.
I think the record is the Miami Dolphins Stadium. At one time, I think it was Pro Players Stadium. It was Land Shark Stadium. It was just Miami Dolphins Stadium. It's now, no, now it's Hard Rock. Like there, I think there's at least half a dozen names. Now it's a stadium that's been around for a long time, but like at some point, it's just like the one where the Dolphins play because I don't know what the name is
Right?
anymore. Yeah. I still don't call Rogers Center Rogers Center. It's
The
Skydome.
Sky Dome
Yeah,
forever and ever.
yeah.
And like
Anyway,
Rogers is just so lazy with their names and they sponsor like every other building.
yeah, this is it. Rogers Center, Rogers Arena, Rogers
You
Place,
know, I at
Rogers.
least called it the Rogers Dome.
Yeah,
Like have like a little like a modicum of creativity.
yeah, really. I think Calgary is building a new arena. Um, I know it's going to be sponsored by Scotiabank. They've already said it. But if Rogers got it, I don't even know what they'd call it anymore. They've run out of names like Rogers Building
Call it
where
the
they play
Rogers like
hockey.
Saddle Dome. And even though it's not going to be the Saddle Dome,
Well, no, yeah,
but like still put your stupid name there,
yeah.
but at least have something else to identify it as unique in some way, if you can.
So
TD Gardens, I don't have a problem with.
sure.
Right.
And funny enough, I was going to mention the arena in Hamilton reopened this week after 2 years of huge, like basically reconstruction and refurbishing, and they've renamed it the TD Coliseum. Like at least
Cool.
it's still got that little bit of the Cops Coliseum name in there, just
Yeah.
brought to you by TD,
I like the brought to you by. I like that a lot because at least you can still remember where the friggin' arena is and the name of
Yeah.
it, and then throw in your sponsorship.
Yeah.
Ah,
Man, we're just solving problems left, right, and center tonight.
jeez, can you believe it?
Well, I noticed that you may have solved a problem, maybe a problem for yourself this morning. Essa Lindell from Dallas. Speaking of
I've had an empty
Dallas,
spot on my one of my defensive slots for like 2 weeks now. When McAvoy went down, I'm like, I'm not replacing with another D. Screw that. And I got shellacked by Paul. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need some extra games played in this slot. I don't know. But the thing is with like a D man, like on the free agent pool, it's depleted. So
it's
like
pretty thin, yeah.
why bother? It's just like the rest of my D lineup after Quinn Hughes is also depleted. So,
Well, I mean,
I'm taking a flyer on him. He's only playing because what's his name? TJ Harley. Is that right?
Yes, I think
The other big name in Dallas is injured. So he's taking his spot. So he's picked up some points in the last week. So
yeah, looks like
maybe I did solve my problem, Jer.
I mean, back-to-back games here of 1.8 points. I mean, he's playing tonight, so this isn't reflective
That
of
doesn't count.
anything
So
other
1,
than
2, 3, 4, 5. So he got points in 4 of his last 5 games.
yeah, not a bad ad. It's funny
No.
because I was looking at him this morning when I added Dylan DeMello. I have a lot of injuries to my defensemen, and I'll tell you the honest truth.
You had 9 on your team though, so I'm shocked you picked up a 10.
I traded one and 3 are injured. So I needed one.
Which one did you trade?
We're gonna have to go back to the
No, it's okay. It's not worth it.
trade with Dan there, but
Dude.
I added Dylan DeMello because, like you say, it's pretty thin out there. But as you can see, he's had at least maybe not a full point.
He's been contributing,
but he's been putting up something every single night that he's played. So, you know, I thought, why not? Moving into this week, though, again, Yahoo is not showing for this week, like I mentioned
Sorry,
last
say that
week.
again.
Yahoo hasn't
Yahoo?
put up, the website that hosts
Yahoo?
Yahoo,
Yahoo.
Am I saying something wrong here?
It sounds like you're putting the emphasis on who,
I'm
which
not
they did in the commercial, so I appreciated that.
not on purpose, but I guess maybe I am.
Stick with it, man.
Anyways, they didn't announce a matchup of the week this past week, and prior to looking at what's coming up for this week, I had to look again. No matchup of the week, so I guess they're just done with that. Last week, I got to face off against Rick, and I had a pretty good week. 84.3 points on the board for myself. Rick 74.4, which wasn't a bad showing for him either. For me, Rasmus Anderson was the player of the week. He had a 9. Where is he? There he is. Calgary's Rasmus Anderson, 9.9. So Nice week for him with 2 goals and 6 assists. And for Rick, he had Morgan Geeky from Boston with a 7.2 as a player of 5 goals. So Morgan was lighting up the lights for Rick this week. Just a quick note, something to remember going into the next game here, though, my new addition of Scott Wedgwood there. 7.4 points in 2 games played and a shutout. So I'm happy with that ad from that trade so far. That was me and Rick. Next up, we have Colin and Dan. So Colin, pretty tight one. He got 56.3. Dan got 53.5. For Colin, it was Alex Touche from Buffalo, 7.3 points, player of the week for Colin. For Dan, it was Calgary's Nazem Kadri, 7 assists
Whoa.
on the week with an 8.7 points. It's 2 members of the Calgary Flames that are players of the week already. And
Future Toronto Maple Leaf.
um, going back to my note on goalies, I trade for Wedgwood. He plays 2 games for me, gets 7.4. In between those 2 games, Colorado starts Mackenzie Blackwood for 1 game, 7.5.
Wow.
So I got I got a shutout out of Wedgwood, and Blackwood also got a shutout. Wedgwood got 1 win, obviously. Blackwood got 1 win. Wedgwood got 2, so I don't know. Uh, Wedgwood played more games, so that's good, but Blackwood is outperforming him after I traded for his goalie tandem buddy there. So, anyways, interesting but frustrating a little bit. Pete and Dave faced off. Dave won this one 65.1 to 56.3. For Pete, his player of the week was goalie Yaroslav Askarov from San Jose with a 10.10. For Dave, believe it or not, it was not um, Jason Robertson from Dallas for once. It was Ovi. Ovi had a big 8.1 week with 5 goals.
Nice.
Yeah. So big week there. And a big win for Dave. Up next, we have Garrett and the captain. And Garrett just rolled over captain.
Ho, ho, ho.
82.2 to 34.
34.9 points.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Captain.
Mm. Rough week at the office for captain.
Well, Hellbuck's injured, right? So it's
I was
oof.
gonna bring that up. Yeah, absolutely. That's but on Garrett's side of things, Joey Decord, I guess, from Seattle was the player of the week with the 7.9. Um,
79 saves.
yeah, big week there. For captain, his player of the week was I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, Captain. I'm sorry. Was Sam Bennett with a 4.4. A lot of
Oof.
ones and twos at the start of those numbers there for him this weekend. And like you said, Hellbuck's out. His replacement Allen got a negative 2.5. So goaltending not helping out Captain this week. And as is tradition, the Cole Caulfield,
Look at
um,
Darnell Nurse, 7.2 points. Good for him.
yeah, big week there. But our Cole Caulfield check in at 3 points with 3 assists on the week.
I love that every week we're going to check in on Cole Caulfield. I'm still losing that. Oh, I guess we'll see if I'm still losing that trade. I think I am quite handedly, actually. But this week, maybe
Well,
I'll get a win.
there you go. Um, Moving on to Marcel and Ty. And Ty kind of beat up on Marcel a bit there too, 80.9 to 66 even. Um, Marcel did have a really good player this week, Mikko Ratnin, 10
Jacob
points.
Chitrin. Oh, 10 points.
But see that number right there?
Oh.
39 penalty minutes.
I imagine
Wh-
suspension. That's why his NA.
That's exactly what I was just
That's
about to
so
say.
worth it.
He got, he got, well, let's just pull it up here. He got, there you go,
Oh, wow.
22,
He's been
22
real a-hole
penalty
lately.
minutes and 4.4 points. Um, the other
No wonder
night
he's
there.
number one in our league.
And yeah, big penalty points for Marcel there. But yeah, he's obviously received the automatic 1 game suspension. And I guess he's got to talk to the Department of Player Safety or whatever, and it could be more games. So if it's just a 1 game suspension, totally worth it for Marcel. If it ends up being a couple more games, well, maybe it'll end up biting him a bit next week. On the other side of things, Ty, for the second week in a row, his player of the week was Sam Reinhart with 8 points there. But he has 4 guys on his team this week that scored 7+ points.
And that's how you
So,
get to 80.
hey, yeah, and
The
look,
Tampa Bay guys showed up.
yeah,
See?
Tampa Bay,
And what was
Tampa Bay,
Vasilevsky's?
he's another one of them.
Boom. See, there you go.
Yeah, so
21 points because his Tampa boys woke up.
Guess Tampa's not quite done yet, eh? Or at least they weren't this week.
I wouldn't count on them for a deep playoff run, but
If they
those
have a
guys are
week like
studs. So
this for the rest of the year, then they'll be all right. Um, Moving on, we have Paul and yourself. You kind of alluded to this earlier, but Paul got the win 78.2 to 67. For Paul, Jake Ottinger was no, not Jake Ottinger.
Lucas
Lucas
Dostal.
Dustel from Anaheim, 7.7 points was the player of the week. And for you, it was Macklin Celebrini with a big 10.5. Big week for
I love
Macklin.
this guy. I didn't expect
Yeah.
him to pay off so quickly, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's paying off all right for you. The other thing is your addition of Dan Vlatter. Not a bad week there with a 5.9
I'll take that.
versus Dustin Wolf's week. He basically didn't play. He played 2 games out of 4. The first game was minus 1.4, and the second game was 3.2. So, I mean, all in all, he would have got you less than 2 points if you still had him on the roster, it looks like. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you a pat on the back for making that move when you did.
I should have made a move sooner. Spencer Knight was available for a long time, but
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right?
should have, would have.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone foresaw just how bad of a sophomore slump Wolf was going to have, or that the Calgary was going to be so awful.
Though this week was not a bad week for Calgary. Like I said, 2 of their players were players of the week.
True.
One. Hmm?
I said true.
Oh, true. Okay. Let's have a quick look here at the standings. So Paul remains ahead of the pack at 6-1. Garrett is at 5-2. And then we have the little group of 4-3 teams here, which is Colin, Dave, myself, and Marcel. Then the 3-4 teams, which is yourself, Pete, Ty, and Rick. Dan and Captain are at 2-5. So still probably a bit too early for some separation, as we still have a lot of teams with the 4-3 or the 3-4. Um, but we're starting to see a little bit of separation from the top 2 teams and the
You
bottom
know where
three
we're seeing a
teams.
lot of separation.
Where's that?
Take a look at the moves.
Yeah, yeah. Pete is
Peter's
very
running
busy.
away with it again as the undisputed year in, year out champion of burning through moves.
Yeah,
I love you,
absolutely.
Pete.
Though,
Don't ever change.
though Marcel's coming for him this year.
Yeah?
13 isn't that far off. On the flip of that, Captain might want to make a move or two there, but
He's the captain. He's loyal, man. Captain goes down with the ship.
yeah, well, that's
And
I'll
his
applaud the loyalty. How about that? Looking into this week, just refreshing it so we'll get the most up to the minute stats here. I've got Dave this week. There's not much separation in the prediction there from Yahoo, and there's not much uh, separation in the current score. 12.1 for me, 12.7 for Dave right now. And Yahoo likes Dave by about 4 points. Colin and Garrett, oh no, that's Marcel, isn't it? Colin and Marcel. Right now, the score is 10.2 to 4.9 for Marcel over Colin. Yeah, who likes Marcel by like three-ish points there, 58.3 to 55.2. Pete and Ty are facing off, and yeah, who really likes Ty, and I guess it's because he has 17 points right now to Pete's 6. Yeah, who is guessing about 76 points for Ty and 49 for Pete. We have Rick facing off against Paul. Yeah, who likes Paul? I'm not really surprised about that one at this stage. 7.7 for Paul right now over Rick's 4 even. 68 points is what Yahoo is looking at for Paul, and 53 is what they're looking at for Rick in the predictions. Dan is facing off against Garrett, and there's almost no separation in the predictions here. The Yahoo both has them both at about 55 points. Right now, Dan is up 5.6 to 3.4. And then we have you and Captain facing off,
there's
friends
an
at
asterisk
the.
for me. Logan Cooley went off last night. Got 7 points, like fantasy points.
Mhm.
4 goals. One of them was shorthanded. Just ridiculous. Do we still get hat trick points? We don't anymore, eh?
No, we don't, because um, you get the points for the goals. So
I'm putting
it,
that on
it,
the
it
agenda
felt
for our
like
general managers
it.
meeting.
There you go. Miami 2026. Um, right now you're up 16.1 to Captain's 9, and Yahoo really likes you at 70 points versus Captain's 58 that Yahoo thinks he's gonna get. So that's the PHL this week. That's the All-Star. That's
Wait,
the
hold on. There's one more thing.
There is.
You were yeah, you were you were really encouraging people to update their trading block, to
Yes.
which no one did.
No one did.
But
No.
this week I went to look, and your trading block has not been updated. Are you still looking for a goaltender?
No.
Good, because I don't have one to give you. Are the other players on that list? Yeah, just update it live.
We're doing it right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Is it gone? That's weird.
No,
No, there it is.
we do have a trade out there. I'm hoping it'll be accepted before our episode ends, so I can announce
I
some more breaking-ish news. So what positions
I
are you looking for?
utility players all the way. No. That's useless to have on there. Strength and defense is my main objective at this point.
So you're looking to trade defense to get defense.
I can move any. I am willing to move
Any
almost
skater
any.
not wearing goalie pads
Yeah, basically.
for more
And one,
defense. So
two,
what you really
three.
want is a 10th defenseman.
What I really want is to have, more than just one good defenseman. uh, and part of what had happened was I picked so many defensemen. I think it was mostly later in the draft, um, because I wasn't confident on most of them. So it was more of a pick as many as you can and see what sticks kind of situation once
So
other
what's the best
positions were
defenseman
filled.
you're willing to trade? Or you'd rather give up a forward? You'd rather trade Crosby for a Makar?
I mean, that sounds probably
Or
more probable to me um, than moving on from, one of my better defensemen. What about you? What do you want right now? Because no one's updating their trading list. So you give me
ah,
give me a verbal trading list.
a
I pull up
verbal trading list.
let me,
Let me pull up my team here.
yeah, I was
You
just
can
gonna
pull
do
it up on the
this.
screen so people can see what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. That's the matchup I want. You're
So the
actually
McAvoy thing has left me. We touched on this before the show. McAvoy bravely blocking a slap shot with his face.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of thrown a wrench into my defense because otherwise I've got him and Quinn Hughes, which is pretty good, very good, and
Mm-hmm.
then a third. I'd like to have a third D. I was hoping Luke Hughes. I'm hoping Luke Hughes can step into that. I traded for him. I traded Cole Caulfield for him, as we keep talking about.
Yep, absolutely.
Um, so he's not having a bad year.
Right.
Like if you but it's just like it feels like because like you have said before, the quality just drops off so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Quinn Hughes is my guy. Now he's currently ranked 36, but he's been injured a little bit. So that could be higher. McAvoy is rated 70, but he was higher before he missed a few games. So after that, my next best guy is 144. So you feel like, I've got 5 defensive slots. I feel like, you know, I could find a third in the top 100,
Right.
and just be a bit more balanced. No, I don't have your super depth at center. I don't have as many. Yeah. It's a little more well-rounded. My wingers have been decent. I mean, this guy's got Bowman's only got 9 points. However,
Mm-hmm.
he's only been playing,
Oh yeah, he's
oh,
put one,
one,
two,
two,
three,
three, four,
four,
5, 6. He's a rookie. These are
seven,
his first
seven.
7 games in the NHL,
Yeah.
and he's got 6 points. So
Yeah, not bad.
I'll ride that wave.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then my issue is like my first round picks didn't hit.
Yeah.
Konechny didn't hit. Like you need better than this from a first round pick, right? Like my other first round pick, Wyatt Johnson, like crushing it.
Yeah.
Logan Cooley with his 7 points the other night doesn't count. Jesper Bratt's really consistent. But Mitch Cobb was a keeper, and he's ranked 307th. He hasn't been injured. He has just
Sucked.
underperformed. I was hoping he'd kind of overperform now that Torts isn't in the way, but he's having a hard time, just like his
Yeah.
buddy Konechny. So I don't know. There's lots that I need, and there's not a ton I can give up. I guess I could throw in some draft picks, but like Macklin Celebrini, uh, and Cutter Guthrie are holding my team together.
Macklin
You know,
Celebrini is,
third overall
yeah, he's
right
just,
now. Cutter Guthrie 30th overall. So I wish I could sort my team by rank, but you
now
know,
would you consider doing something like a Macklin Celebrini to get, like three players back to upgrade at, each position or something like that? I don't think I have it to offer you, or I don't,
it's
I
an
don't think.
interesting equation because that's kind of how you get significantly better
Hmm.
short term.
Short term,
But
short
because we've
term.
only got 7 keepers, like you're right back into, well, I need 7 studs for next year.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's a chip you play in a playoff push. Be like, but how much do you get back for him? You're giving up the 3rd ranked player overall right now.
Yeah, it's
Am I
tough to
going to
give.
get, you know, I would want, if there's like, I'd want 3 guys back then, like in the mid 20s.
Sure, that would be fair.
And then
That
I'm
like
dropping, like, what improvement am I getting out of that? Like, Cole Perfetti has been injured most of the year, but I could probably drop him. It's like, what is the value over replacement? And like, who's going to do like a Macklin Celebrini for um a few like A tier guys?
yeah. Well, I
You
mean,
know,
that's
like who's rebuilding and has that kind of depth?
yeah, that's the problem, right? If you're rebuilding, you don't have that kind of depth, generally speaking. Um, but if a let's just choose who's at the boat. Captain. Maybe if he sends you Cole Caulfield back, and and,
He's got to send me back like Cole
and
Caulfield and like
yeah,
Hellebuck. Like,
yeah.
he's
No,
like, you'd
you're
have
right.
to
It's
want
a lot of
Macklin Celebrini because he's 19, and you're hoping for like a top 5, top 10 guy for
yeah. So Captain's a horrible
over a
example
decade.
because he's 19. He's not 49, so he won't be on Captain's roster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Captain's
Yeah.
roster is like seniors day at Shoppers Drug Mart. It's just like everyone over 65 is there. It's a party.
And everyone's getting a flu shot and picking up their back pills.
I was gonna say depends,
Back
but
pain.
yeah, we'll go with
Yeah,
back pills.
okay. Yeah, okay.
The row backs to set for a friend.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You guys heard our thoughts. So if you're listening and you're interested in a trade, there's a few thoughts from myself and Garrett. And you know what? Where I kind of put it out there to Pete specifically last week. But if you are interested in trading with Garrett or myself, come on next week. Let's do this thing live.
I don't want to limit it to just us. Like if you guys are out
Oh
there
yeah,
and be
absolutely.
like, I want to trade with this person,
Yeah,
put you in the
Pete,
hot seat. We'll give you 3 minutes to negotiate. See if you can do
absolutely.
it.
It's a great idea. Save it. Let us know. We'll send you the info to get on here. Like you said, we'll throw 3 minutes up on the board and let's see what happens.
Love it.
Love it. All right. Well, they have their homework. We have our homework, I guess. I didn't give us any homework, but let's just say I did. Um, so that's it for this week.
That's it. That's all we got.
That's it. So until next week, stay fit and have fun. I don't know.
Stay fit and
We
have fun.
I guess. I don't know.
Keep your sauce money. Keep your money saucy.
Yeah, keep your money saucy. I like
Keep that
it.
sauce on the money. We'll figure it out. We'll workshop it.
Yeah, we got some time.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.